as day one of the Dubai Duty-Free Irish Open wraps up. More from the Inishowen Peninsula on the way, but this time, every week, it is time for Thursday Night Football with John Giles. John, you're very welcome to the studio.
Thank you, Richie.
I'd imagine you've got to be looking on as a man who's fond of the odd 9 holes himself fairly enviously at the weather and the conditions and everything else that's going on.
I got out yesterday actually for 9 holes.
Yeah.
I can't play very well now. Well, I never could play very well, but I'm a lot worse than I was. But I get out and get a bit of exercise. And the weather, as you say, Richie, is ideal.
Yeah. It's perfect.
I can hardly hit the ball, but I'm okay. I'm getting a bit of exercise anyway.
Did you ever take in an Irish Open or anything like that at the time, or even any of the tournaments when you're over in England?
I did. I went to Scotland for the British Open in around 1970 odd.
Right.
And I stayed for, this was up in Scotland, I stayed for about 15 minutes, Richie.
Yeah.
Couldn't get near the players.
That's what I was going to say. As a spectator sport, it doesn't strike me as being the most engaging. Yeah,
it's terrible.
Television's ideal for it.
That's what I did. I went back to the hotel I was staying in and watched it. Now, I was playing a bit of golf at that time myself, around the courses. But for watching, I tell you what I used to do. When they were running around when I lived in Leeds in Birmingham, I used to go especially to the Beltray when they had the big tournaments on the practice day. And it was brilliant. You could get very, very close to the players. I wouldn't go on a match day because you see people sitting in the stand, don't you, for the big tournaments, and they're there all day. You're
perched at the 13th for like 7 hours trying to take.
So you're seeing shots coming in, and like you're watching on the television, you see every hole, every shot. So I went once and I never went again to a big tournament.
As a participation sport, just like works out much better for you.
I love golf. I love golf, and it was great for when I was a professional footballer because there's a lot of tension and there's a lot of coming near the end of the season on big matches, and you could get away from it. You could get away on the golf course. You could get away from it. Hit a rubbish shot and you get mad with yourself, but you're forgetting about football. And Don Reevy was keen on golf, but we couldn't play golf after Wednesday.
Was he worried about strains, Tom?
No, it's not good for football. So you're on your feet for 4 hours.
Right.
You don't want to be on your feet for 4 hours. You get very, very tired. Like football is short, sharp, sprinty stuff. So when we even trained in Monday, Tuesday or Wednesday, apart from the pre-season, we might only train for an hour. But it was quick and sharp and bright. There was no hanging around. Friday was very little training because you're saving yourself for a Saturday. But golf, snooker, he wouldn't let any lads play snooker. So definitely don't go shopping with your wife. You're on your feet for too long. No. And the lads were delighted about that.
I've an excuse from the boss, I can't go.
I never went shopping anyway, so I was okay. But it's true. Like if you're playing, the lads play snooker, when you're on your feet, you don't even feel it.
Yeah,
you don't feel. You're on your feet for 4 hours.
You're taking a lot of steps then, yeah.
It's the worst part. No, you're on your feet too long.
Yeah.
It actually tires you out. And when you're playing football, it's short, sharp, sprinty stuff. So that's what you have to concentrate on. So we couldn't play golf after Wednesday, but then again we had loads of matches at that time. Like we were going Europe, so we might go 3 months, 4 months, 5 months without a game of golf. Of course, you forget about it then. But in the summer, when we did get the break, I used to have a holiday place down near Cortown. So I was a member of Cortown. It was absolutely brilliant. Totally away from football. You know what? You play golf, Richie.
I don't actually.
Oh, do you?
I'm one of the 2 people I think in here that don't actually play golf.
You should try it. It's one game. It's one game. You never master.
No.
Well, I certainly never got near master. I was just a hacker. But it's the next shot you think, God, and the time goes by so quickly, and it's a healthy exercise.
Yeah.
And usually you're in good company. Like if you play with somebody that you don't get on with, you won't be playing with them again. So it's usually good company, good pals, a good laugh, serious stuff in many ways.
Yeah.
But I love golf, and it was great for me as a professional footballer to get away from the tension and all the big matches at the end of the season.
Yeah, it's these downtimes between matches now in the World Cup that a lot of players usually have issue with, although the high turnover of games, we've only got a short gap now between the last 16 and the quarterfinals getting underway tomorrow, with Uruguay and France. It's interesting to see how the players have coped. England are one of those squads that seemingly are very, very together. There's been numerous reasons for it put forth in the papers, whether it's having inflatable unicorns in the pool for Jesse Lingard, whether it's for France having computer game setups not in the dressing rooms, but in the hotel rooms for the players, and everybody kind of finds their different way to relax. But now England have had a very short gap between the Colombia game and Sweden. We'll turn to the Colombia match first of all.
Yeah, sorry, can I just say to you that I think the relaxation thing is exaggerated. When you're a professional footballer, you're brought up with it. Now, I'm not talking about my own case. I used to read a lot, and I used to love getting away, to get away to read. It's not all boredom. Lads are not bored all the time. What happens after the World Cup in England in the past, they had other issues where lads didn't get on, or the wives were there, and the wives were, all that carry on. That was all part of it. But if you leave the lads alone on themselves, they all go their own way, and they rest in between. You don't have to be bored all the time. You want to be on your own. So when you're doing well, like England are doing well, everything is great. This was done, Southgate did this and Southgate did that and that, which is fair enough, but that's the way it works in football. When you're doing well, I'll give you a perfect example. When I played at Leeds, we were a quite successful team, and I used to meet players from opposition, and they always thought there was a secret to it.
Tell us what you're doing in training.
No. What are you having for your pre-match meal? Pre-match meal. As if it mattered. It didn't matter. And they don't wonder, what made you a great team? Well, what makes you great is hard work and great players. It's not gimmicks like, what do you have for your pre-match meal and what did you do to do this, that way. It's hard work and dedication. And when England played in other matches and tournaments before, they didn't have that. There was rows about one thing or another, not what it was about. And Southgate has done a good job doing what he's doing, but it shouldn't be any big deal.
But this is where we are with England, is that it's so unexpected almost for them to go on a run and to get to the latter stages. We're talking about potential semi-finals and who knows, maybe final for them. Finals, and that's probably fair enough given how they performed and given why that draw has opened up. But I want to talk about the Colombia game because you mentioned golf is one of those things that you never really master. They say penalty shootouts are probably one of those things the teams never master either. Southgate seemingly has put in the work almost from day one of the job with England, has made them practice.
Richie, this is part of what was the secret when we were at Leeds United, to be quite honest. They're penalty kicks, right? Penalty kicks in professional football is a penalty kick. Of course you can prepare, right? But why didn't Henderson score? Didn't he do the same preparation as the others? Very same. I'm not saying you shouldn't prepare. Of course you should prepare. You should have all the things like they have now, the ball being handed back so the lads not getting pressurised, going up to take the penalty kick or being under too much pressure. These are professional footballers, Richie.
But in terms of he had his 5 picked, if Vardy hadn't had the groin strain, that he would have been in that 5 that took penalties. So he knew from way out who were going to be his penalty takers. So often has been the case with England. And you think back to 98, John, when they were looking around and Paul Ince is cowering away from the ball. David Batty doesn't really want to take one, but ends up taking one and then misses.
Richie, that was madness. That was madness.
But Southgate's done a good job.
Southgate's done it. No, I'm not taking anything away from Southgate. But this is common sense stuff. You're taking a penalty. You're a professional footballer and you're taking a penalty. And I can tell you, Richie, no matter how much you practice on that, that's different to the occasion on that. And I know he's done his best to teach the lads or coach them for that particular occasion. It still comes to the occasion, Now, again, and I'm not taking anything away from England. Good luck to them. I'll say one thing. They've been the luckiest team ever on the draw. There's no doubt about that, and you can't ignore that. I don't care whether England do well or don't. Well, I'm not anti-English in any way, but they got 2 of the worst teams in the playoffs. There's no doubt about that.
Group stages, yeah.
Right, in the group stages, they played Belgium with nonsense, so they got beat. They scored in the penalty shootout the other night, and France, Belgium, and Brazil are in the opposite draw. Yeah. You couldn't have worked it out better. Now, good luck to them for that. But what happens in football, when a team is winning, and they won the other night on penalties, everything is, okay, what did they do? If they'd missed the penalties the other night, they'd be saying, all that stuff that Southgate did.
Waste of time.
Yeah. Right? I'll give you a perfect example as well. When Don Levy was manager of Leeds, people used to come to him, what's the secret, and what was this, and what was that? And we used to play bingo on the night before a match and the day of a match, and we used to play carpet balls, right? And people put that down as one of the big things of us being successful. Don went to England as England manager, didn't do well. They played balls and bingo, and it was put down for the reason that they weren't doing well. That's what happened. When you do well in football, all the mad things come out. Now, I'm not saying he didn't prepare well. Actually, I think he's done a very good job PR-wise. I'm not so sure he's done a great job on the pitch, to be quite honest. I think on the pitch, they're unbalanced. They've got Henderson as the only midfield player, and Lingard, Sterling, Dele Alli as forward players, right? There's no midfield at all. There's no cohesion, I don't think, in that particular team. Now, they've won their matches, or they've won a fair share of the matches. But coaching-wise, if you have 2 years to do prepared team to go into the first match. Now, I might have spoken about this before, right? Then preparation is having them prepared for that particular match, right? That makes sense. Now, when England played in the first competitive match, that team had never played together before. They hadn't played. Lingard and all these, like the head of the ball, had never played together before. So you're going on the wing and a prayer there. That's not good preparation. Right? So we'll wait and see exactly what happens with England. They've done okay so far. I don't think they've been tested. They might be tested. I don't think they'll be tested against...
you don't think Sweden... Because a lot of people are presuming that Sweden is going to be the step up that England haven't had in terms of competitiveness so far in this tournament. You don't think
that? Richie, no. I've watched Belgium at least twice, maybe 3 times in this competition.
Sweden does, yeah.
Sorry, Sweden. And no, don't think so.
What's lacking?
Very ordinary.
I know they seem to be a very blunt instrument, but blunt instruments can obviously do you damage if they're landed with enough force.
Of course. Well, anything can do you damage if you do it. But who did they play? Who have they played? I saw them against Switzerland the other day. They were blessed to get through the match.
Accounted for Germany in the group stages. Accounted for Germany in the group stages, or at least contributed to their downfall, didn't they?
I don't know. What was the result against Germany?
Was it Germany they played?
Anyway.
The Tony Kroos free kick laid on, the Jimmy Durmaz free laid on, ultimately cost them. But they,
how bad were Germany? I'm not taking anything away. I'm making a case, but there's always a case for it. But Germany were awful. Germany were beaten by Mexico, and they were beaten in the last match by North Korea. South Korea, right? I'm getting my North and South.
Beaten by North Korea,
Germany. But I'm going to tell you what I saw.
Yeah.
Sweden, I think they're very ordinary, and I think England will. Actually, I think England will beat them comfortably. I don't rate Sweden at all.
Comfortably?
At all. Yeah. And it's another non-test, really, for, in my opinion, gone along the way.
Right.
Because I've never seen a team with one midfield player, which is Henderson, who is not a creative midfield player. And he's the only... Lingard is not a midfield player. Sterling's not a midfield player. Dele Alli's not a midfield player. So he's gone on in with this formation, and it's a wing and a prayer. So far, it's worked okay. Only okay so far. I mean, Panama, they beat well. Who was the other team?
Tunisia. Tunisia was the other team in the group.
Yeah, well, they beat them in the last minute, and they should have been ahead of them. Right? Belgium doesn't matter. They didn't play a team, and they got through in the penalty shootout the other night. There's no evidence of any great play from England. There might be a togetherness and all that, which is good, and I think Southgate has done well to create that. But I don't think they've been tested yet.
Were you disappointed with Colombia the other night? Because a lot of people had talked them up in terms of being a challenge. I know they were missing James Rodriguez, who's going to be a massive miss for any side, given the injury that he picked up. But they seemed to shrink away at what got them to the second round. They looked like a fantastic footballing outfit. They had a brilliant front three, regardless of Rodriguez. And they just seemed to resort to the cynicism.
To be fair to England, England stopped them. They didn't allow them to play, and I give England full credit for that. England were by far the better team in the first half, got the penalty at that particular time, and Colombia didn't show anything at all, Richie, to be quite honest. But in the second half, when it really mattered, like it happens with a lot of teams, Southgate were out tired and that, as if to tie it up. Actually, I don't believe in that. The best way to tie it up is to keep the ball and get another goal. That's the right thing. And if you're not scoring another goal, at least you're on the offensive. And they got the goal against them in the last minute. So it went to penalty kicks, don't forget. Now, I don't think Colombia were all that good. I think they were there for the taking. I think England first half did well. Without it being a good game, it wasn't a great game by any means. I mean, they didn't dominate them in a certain fashion that they looked like they were going to score goals. But they did dominate them. And it was only when Colombia in the second half had to go at them that they really started to play in a way that they can play. And England then, in my opinion, fell back. And again, they didn't have the midfield player to control the game. If you notice in the match, Harry Kane, who was absolutely knackered in the match, was coming back deep. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Now, Harry Kane had to come back deep because there was nobody supplying him with the ball. That's not his job to come back deep. It's the midfield players is to do their stuff there to get it up to him. Didn't have any midfield players. So I'm waiting to see England to be tested. Yeah. And I have nothing against England, Richie. Anyway, I'm living in all my life. No problem with England. I don't like the some of the rubbish that goes on and talk about. Because once you win, then
get on with it.
Get on with it. But the reason is this and the reason is that. And that's the papers have to do that as well. And Southgate has done a good job in many ways, particularly off the pitch. I'm not so sure he's done such a good job on the pitch, where ultimately it really matters.
Okay, well, we'll find out for certain anyway on Saturday afternoon in Samara. There's much more from John to come. 3 more World Cup quarterfinals preview after this.
Off the Ball on News Talk.
You invented what, sir? The pop-up tent. Perfect for camping, parties, even business market stalls with folding tables.
Sir, O'Mara Camping's been supplying pop-up tents for ages.
Oh, yeah? Well, does O'Mara Camping do accessories? Folding tables and chairs, gas cookers, fridges and griddles?
Yes, and airbags and toilets and cool boxes, even canoes.
Well, what about this then?
Sir, you did not invent the sleeping bag.
That's what O'Mara Camping wants you to think. It's a conspiracy.
No, it's O'Mara Camping.
Tents for events and a whole lot more. That'll be omaracamping.com.
You thought you'd found the best electricity deal, but you hadn't. Because our price check proves that only Electric Ireland customers get the best value year after year. So, if you're not already with Electric Ireland, switch now at electricireland.ie or at 1850 30 50 90. Saying we'll save you money is smart. Proving it is smarter. Electric Ireland, that's smarter living. Conditions apply. Direct debit online billing. Residential customers only. See comparison at electricireland.ie/price check. Based on rates at May 23rd, 2018.
At Expert Electrical, we're always bringing you the latest appliances and technology. For this week only, we're giving you a free 5-year warranty with selected Electrolux washing machines and dryers. Only available through our 67 stores nationwide. There's an Expert near you. Find yours at expert.ie. Terms and conditions apply.
Download the Irish Radio Player app. With 43 Irish radio stations in your pocket, it's good to know you'll always be in the know. Search Irish Radio Player on the App Store or Google Play and download the app today. The Irish Radio Player app. Tune yourself in.
Bruce Betting are one of Ireland's leading bookmakers. Download the iOS app today to see why Bruce Betting are giving you more for World Cup 2018. Bruce Betting, your World Cup bookmaker. In store, online, and now on your phone. Please gamble responsibly. See dunlewy.net.
Rory here from Elephant Self-Storage. For a limited period, we are offering storage clients a free move-in service. Book a storage room now and our partner movers will collect your goods and bring them to our 800-room storage centre for free. This free offer is suitable for both household and business clients. There are some sensible conditions, but nothing stupid. Contact elephant.ie or phone 494 00 00. That is 494 00 00.
11 people develop dementia in Ireland every day.
That could be people like our parents, colleagues, friends.
And people like me, who could be someone just like you.
Any one of us can get dementia.
Every one of us can make a difference by understanding more.
It's time to understand together. To stand together with the 500,000 people whose families have been affected by dementia. Visit understandtogether.ie or call 1-800 341 341 from the HSE and our partners.
This week at M&S, indulge in a delicious dine-in for two with a main, side, dessert and a bottle of wine for just €14. M&S. Spend it well. Terms, conditions and exclusions apply, subject to availability. Over 18s only. Please drink responsibly. See in store for details.
Off the Ball. This is News Talk.
Welcome back. More from the lads up in Ballyliffin, just the other side of 8 o'clock. But John Giles is here with us in studio. I mentioned England and Sweden. Looking forward to their game on Saturday, just before the break, John. A hell of a couple of games tomorrow. I suppose we'll start with Brazil and Belgium. It's a Belgian side who are very, very lucky to be in this position, given the way they performed for at least 50 odd minutes against Japan the other night.
They were very lucky, Richie. They got a big break when Vertonghen
Vertonghen centre half.
Like he tried to head the ball. First of all, I think Japan would have won well if they'd had a goalkeeper. The goalkeeper was poor. Really poor.
Decision making from him led to a couple of goals.
The first one, he went to punch and mispunched it out to Vertonghen. And Vertonghen actually tried to head it back across the goal. But if you look at the position of the goalkeeper, he's still on the near post. He should have been back in the middle of the goals. He would have knocked it over the top. He should never have been beaten from there. Put them back in the game.
Sure.
I thought Japan were brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Actually, it's the best display, apart from the goalkeeper, that I've seen from a team in terms of balance. From midfield to forward.
Really?
And attacking, the full-backs were on their way. No fear about them at all. Actually, there was an incident in the second half where there was a clash between Company and one of the forwards.
Sure, yeah.
And he gave a free kick against the Jap, and he'd beaten, he was on the line. He was on the line, on the byline. It's a good chance of scoring. I thought their attitude was great, even when they went 2-0 up. And what I was a little bit annoyed about listening to it, there was a lot of at the end when they went for the corner kick, a lot of discussion that they were naive, that they should have played a short corner kick. Why? What was wrong with scoring from that was their attitude. Like, they weren't winning at that stage. They have to go into extra time. So if they got a corner in extra time, they wouldn't be playing it safe. You know, they went for the goal, and they did slip up. They got caught out, and Belgium did really well to score the goal. But they had the courage when they were 2-0 up. They didn't sit back. Well, you were talking about, say, England the other night sitting back. Their attitude and the balance of the team from back to front, in through midfield, up to the front, the fullbacks coming into play, I thought they were excellent. And Belgium were very, very lucky.
And when you consider, we don't necessarily have the time to get in Japan, when you consider they had the likes of Honda and Okazaki, who are experienced players, to come off the bench. I mean, it augurs well for their future that those are the players that they're leaving in reserve. But from a Belgian point of view, this Brazilian side are favourites in many people's eyes for the tournament.
Belgium were poor.
Belgium were poor, and I don't think they have been great throughout the tournament.
I think there's trouble in the camp.
Okay.
And there's supposed to be, there's rumours that between Hazard and De Bruyne, that there's a bit of controversy or jealousy or whatever it might, but they definitely didn't look right. They didn't look like a team to me, because Martinez afterwards, like most managers, make the best of the situation. This is our group of lads, see how we came back and all that. What about that 60 minutes where they were playing rubbish? You know, they shouldn't have had to come back in the game. You know, all the managers, they make a virtue of coming back when they shouldn't have been behind in the first place if they were playing properly, in my opinion. But there's definitely something. I think there might be something over the captaincy.
Okay.
Right? And what I can't understand, Company played the other night. Now, Company's been captain for years. Why not make him captain? And keep out. We don't know what's going on in the dressing room. We just don't know what's going on. But maybe, and there was a couple of things I did see myself, where it was Hazard or De Bruyne throwing their hands up when Hazard or him didn't give the ball to each other. There's something not right there.
Sure.
And if that's not right, then there's nothing right.
Particularly against the Brazilian side, who've got that front three, who've got another front three in reserve that can absolutely tear you to pieces if you're not on your game.
My only minus with Brazil, I've tipped them at the start, I still tip them to go now, but they don't have a creative force in midfield.
Okay.
They have Casemiro, is that his name? Casemiro.
And Paulinho.
That's the midfield they have. They haven't got a creative bone in the body between them. Now, they're lucky enough they have Willian, Coutinho,
Jesus,
and Neymar, who can link it up. It's not perfect, but they can link it up. I mean, England, for example, don't have anybody to link it up. They have those players, but they don't have the midfield players to do it. And, like, if you look at all the great teams, in my opinion, there's always been at least one really creative midfield player, like a Modric for not many of them around at the moment. But that's my only reservation about Brazil. They're very good at the back. They don't give goals away. They're capable of scoring goals. But if they're in the midfield, there will be maybe a team that could dominate them in the middle of the field. They don't have that creative force in the middle of the field. And it's very, very difficult to go all the way. And they could do it without that.
It's looking more and more likely that Uruguay are going to be without Edinson Cavani. He went off with a hamstring injury against Portugal the other night. I don't think he's trained at all in the lead up to tomorrow's game with France. The back four for Uruguay have performed spectacularly, just conceding the one goal, that against the Portuguese last time out. Whereas France don't really know if they have their best starting 11 sorted yet. They've got another issue there on the left-hand side because Matuidi's going to be missing here and he's got to recalibrate his midfield as Deschamps. They're still trying to find their best formula, France. And it's a Uruguay side that are hard to break down. I'd imagine this one's going to be fairly tough to call.
It'll be a good one, yeah. I think France will do it. I think Mbappe, is that the right name?
Mbappe, yeah.
Has come on well. And he's the real McCoy, I think, this kid. He's only 19. I think they've improved a couple of bit in their matches anyway, France. Uruguay, like, Suarez hasn't played well. I know he's made a couple of goals and that. They haven't scored many goals, but he hasn't really...
Does he look fit to you?
No, he doesn't. He doesn't look as if he's getting around the pitch as well as he should. Cavani's not playing, who was the real star in the last match, really worked hard and scored the 2 goals as well. I think he's a huge loss. I would be going a bit for France in this particular game.
Okay. Just by virtue of...
Well, I think Mbappe will be proved to be the superstar of the future.
Okay.
He did well the other night. I think they've got better, a little bit better as the tournament has gone on, and I just have a fancy for them.
Okay,
to do them.
Finally, I'd imagine you're kind of would really enjoy the prospect of Luka Modric. You mentioned him there earlier on, playing in a World Cup semi-final. They've got Russia standing between them and that possibility on Saturday evening. This Russian team have kind of defied expectations along the way. There might be myriad reasons for it, but they are where they are. They're in the quarterfinal of a World Cup, and they're going to be a hard unit to shift out of the way.
They will, Richie. I mean, the spirit's been good. I think being the home team, they had a couple of good performances. Then they got a hiding, didn't they? 3-0 in the last match.
Yeah, against Uruguay, funnily enough.
Against Uruguay. So I think they've done much better than anybody expected them to do. Whether they're good enough to I would fancy Croatia.
Well, did Croatia not disappoint somewhat against Denmark the other night? They looked like they had the sting taken out of them somewhat.
Well, what happens in this tournament? You see good performance, and like against Argentina, they were very, very good. Now this was against an Argentinian team who were down and out, really. So, but they took full advantage of it. Against Denmark, they didn't play well at all. But a lot of the teams have been like that. And that's why it's very hard to call. I'm just going on what I've seen, and I have a feel for Croatia. I think they'll do it. I don't think it'll be easy, but I think they have a bit more. I think they're more in midfield. I think they'll dominate from that position. I just have a feel for Croatia being good enough. But it's only I wouldn't be putting any money on it.
Playing it safe at this stage is probably the best way to go. When you look at that last 8, when you look at the teams that are in it, particularly on that Saturday side of the draw, I guess we'll call it with Sweden, England, Russia and Croatia, to think that one of those sides is going to be in a World Cup final in a week and a bit's time.
Yeah, but that's what's happened. And that's why England, lucky, because nearly all the top teams, they've avoided, Germany's gone out of it, but you still got Belgium, 3 of the favourites, Belgium, Brazil.
And France on the other.
And France, and they're in the other half of the draw, which is remarkable to see so many teams. I mean, if the big teams had performed like they should, surely Germany, Spain, Argentina, they would have had at least 1 or 2 of them in their half of the draw. But that's all ifs and buts. The fact is they didn't do it. So the teams that have done it are there, and England are in the mix with a good chance, very good chance.
And it's nice to have football on practically every day of that calibre too to watch, and enjoy.
Yeah. What we do when it stops.
Well, that's the thing. The sunshine will be gone by then, and then we're all screwed.
Yeah, we're all screwed. You can't win whatever way you go.
We'll have, I suppose, semi-finals to pick through by the next time you come into us, John, next week. Touch woods, and we'll find out who's going to be the last 4 in this World Cup. But between now and then, enjoy it as much as you can. Enjoy the weather as much as you can as well. I can see you've
and
been
you, Richie. And our listeners.
Indeed. More from John next Thursday. We'll be back up to Ballyliffin after these.
Join the conversation. Text us on 53106. Texts cost 30 cents.
That's the sound of Daniel's new Smeg washing machine. He's not worried about wasting water in this heatwave because this washing machine has low water consumption. He got this washing machine for the great price of €429, saving him €170. It was delivered and installed using one of Harvey Norman's installation packages, and the old one was taken away free of charge. Visit Harvey Norman today, in store or online.
Go! Fancy a fun challenge this summer? Tato Park is now open every day, and we want you to take on the Tato Park Challenge. Go on all your favourite attractions, the Cuchulainn Coaster, Viking Voyage at the park, our new Nissan driving school, and check out our spinning coaster for kids coming soon. Tato Park. Soak up the summer fun. Book now and save at tatopark.ie.
It's time for summer at Dunnes Stores with our Better Value 6. 6 fresh fruit and veg for only 49 cents each. This week's selection includes pomegranates, avocados and tasty beetroot. Save again with our €10 off every €50 grocery voucher. Dunnes Stores. Always better value. Terms and conditions apply. See in store for details. Minimum spend required.
So you've decided it's an SUV for 182. But which one is the one for you? How about the German SUV with sleek design, uncompromised performance and intelligent safety that makes it the perfect fit for your family? The Opel Grandland X. And when you make the smart choice and choose the Grandland X, we give you even more choice, like 0% PCP or HP finance. Auf Wiedersehen interest. Or €2,500 scrappage. Wunderbar. Or 5 years free servicing. Keine Problem. The impressive Opel Grandland X and an equally impressive 182 offer? Well, that's just the German in us. Visit your local Opel dealership for more. Opel. The future is everyone's. Terms and conditions apply.
So, who exactly uses uStore-It, Ireland's largest self-storage company?
I'm an electrician and use uStore for storing my tools and supplies.
I sell gym equipment online and I use uStore-It to keep stock.
I'm an online retailer and I use uStore-It to run my business.
We're moving house and we're using uStore for all our stuff.
Whatever your storage needs, uStore-It has the answer, with locations in Dublin, Cork, Waterford and Belfast. Visit us at uStore-It.ie. Everybody uses uStore-It. Do you?
Here we are, about to kick off. The ref has his hand in his pocket. He's given a Ladbrokes free €5 bet. He's sending everyone off to the bookies, even Fumbles the mascot. Get involved with a Ladbrokes free bet tomorrow, only in the Irish Sun.
T's and C's apply. Free bet stakes not return with winnings. Selected markets 18+. Gambleaware.ie.
I'm not the kind of person who wants to sit in a metal box. I don't want to slowly die in traffic. I want to ride a motorbike. And I want to keep riding a motorbike. I don't want to suddenly die in traffic. I'm not the kind of person who wants to lie in a wooden box.
Biking is a joy. Don't let it kill you. Half of biker fatalities are caused by motorcyclist speeding, so ease off the throttle and keep within the speed limit. From the Road Safety Authority.
On 106 to 108 FM and at newstalk.com. This is News Talk.
Good evening, I'm Tom Swift. An 18-year-old man has been charged this evening in connection with the murder of Cameron Riley in County Louth. The body of the teenager was discovered in a field in Dunleer on Saturday, May 26th. A post-mortem revealed he was strangled to death. The 18-year-old, who was arrested today, is due to appear before Drogheda District Court tomorrow morning. The Taoiseach says he's dissatisfied work hasn't begun to analyse more than 3,000 smear tests in the wake of the cervical check scandal. The review was due to begin in May and was expected to help form part of the Scally inquiry into what happened. The number of women affected by the scandal has also risen to 221. Taoiseach Leo Varadkar says he hopes the pace of the investigation can be quickened.
I'm very dissatisfied with the fact that the actual review of the slides hasn't started yet. Work has begun though. The terms of reference had been agreed and the preliminary work is being done. But certainly we had thought back in May that this was a job that could be done more quickly, but we now understand it's going to take a bit longer, but we're obviously going to do everything we can as a government to make sure that work is done as soon as possible.
Gardaí are investigating after reports of a drive-by shooting in West Dublin this afternoon. Two men say they were shot at from a car as they sat in their van in the Earlsfort area of Lucan at around 5:15. A car has since been found burnt out on the Nanger Road in Dublin 12. The men weren't injured and investigations are ongoing.
News Talk Weather.
Thanks to Des Kelly Interiors. Now with more choice than ever in wood flooring. Still at the lowest prices. At the new look Des Kelly Interiors.
Tonight will stay dry with cloud across the Midlands and lowest temperatures of 9 to 14 degrees. Warm and sunny again tomorrow as early cloud gradually breaks up through the morning. And now you're up to date on News Talk.
Off the ball. This is News Talk.
Back to Thursdays Off the Ball. We are live from Ballyliffin Golf Club.
So live, Nathan.
So live.
It could not be more live. Whew. How do you prove we're live? Because we actually are.
We were very live a couple of moments ago.
Tweet in or text in, we'll read it out.
As we always do, Joe. Why would we not be live? I don't understand why you think we wouldn't be live. We are live. The final few stragglers are starting to leave Ballyliffin.
I don't know if this is fair to report. It is. It's in a public environment.
Go on, do it.
So Darren Clark is one of the last off the driving range there. Man, he is grinding very hard. A very dejected figure, I would say, with the driver in his hand. It was going left, it was going right. He was getting his friend there to video him and looking at it and going back and hitting the same shots and just not hitting shots that I'm sure he hit in his sleep for the vast majority of his career. It's quite a striking scene to happen upon.
A 3 over par round of 75 for Darren Clark today. What was also striking was when we arrived in here on Tuesday, the first person we saw on the range was Darren Clark. It was around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, which isn't unusual. In fact, for some reason on the way up, I had a feeling that maybe Clark wasn't playing this year because he's not playing a huge amount of golf. He's going to be eligible for the Champions Tour in about 6 months' time.